Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to talk about services. So what is a service? A service is a program which runs in the background. Like whenever we install any softwares or applications, there will be a background process is going to be running. In this session, we are going to see how we can see that process or service and how we can stop it or how we can start or how we can restart those services. The same services we can see also in the Windows. Those who are not familiar with the Linux, at least in our laptop, whenever we type, let's say services.msc, let's go and type services.msc in the run tab. It is still here. So in the run, if we type services.msc, then we can see a tab called all the services which are running in the background. So here you can see the name of that service, whether the status and what is the purpose of this service, the description and startup type, whether we need to start it manually or the service is disabled and the service is running automatically, means whenever the laptop reboots automatically this service is coming online. So these all services, whenever we install any software, then background this process is going to run. For example, BitLocker, Bitdefender is for antivirus and Citrix client it is installed. So this way, whatever the softwares are running in this machine background, these are the services are going to run. The same way in the Linux operating systems also, whenever by default, whenever the operating system is created or install the operating system, by default some softwares will run, and later on also based upon the requirement we may need to install some softwares, like we discussed in the yum session or in the apt or yum sessions, we try to install some softwares. So at that time also, whatever the softwares we install, then background some services are going to run. So in this session, we are going to see how those services are managed, like starting of a service, stopping of a service, how it is going to be managed. Then we need to see now. So we have two commands, systemctl and the service commands. So these are the two commands are available to see the process or to restart the service or to stop the service. So now first we'll go with the systemctl commands and then we'll go and see with the service commands. So now let me connect to the Ubuntu machine, then I'll execute this systemctl commands. The first command you can see list-units means whatever the current process which are running in the background, all those information it is going to show us, like what are the services which are running in by default, it is going to display. So now let's connect to the Ubuntu machine. So this is the Ubuntu machine I connected, and always remember whenever you want to stop a service, start a service or to view that, to execute the systemctl command, you should have root privilege, or if you are a normal user then you should have a sudo access to execute those commands. Okay, so as of now I connected as a root so that I can directly able to execute those commands. The first command is systemctl list-units. So this is a command I can able to execute, and now you can able to see this is a unit name and this is active or not, and this is a description. So the exact services are started from here. If you see here, from here you can able to see what are the services which are running in the background. So network service, cron service, the cron job service to schedule any automation, then we can use cron service. So these are the things which are running in the background. So network service, multipath service, so a lot of other services are running. SSH service, SSH service, if you remember, always we are connecting to the Linux machine with SSH service. If I click here session and if I click here SSH, I am selecting SSH option over here, which means in the Linux machine there is a software called SSH and that is helping us to connect to that machine. If there is no SSH, then we cannot able to connect to that machine. So that software is running. For that software there is a background service is also running. So if that service is down, then you cannot able to connect to that server. Even though server is up, the network is good, but still we cannot able to connect because that SSH service is down. So always that service should be up and running, otherwise we cannot able to connect the server through network. Okay, so the host name and the username once we give, then it will go and contact that service inside that machine, and then only it will give you the login prompt option. If that service is down, then it is not going to prompt the username and password. So that is an important service. Like these are the all the important services. If that service is down, then that application functionality, that software functionality is not going to work. That is going to be stopped. So this way you can able to see whether the service, and this is a description about each and every service and whether it's running or not, or you need to start it manually. These are the information. So once you check this name, then you can able to see systemctl status. Let's check cron service. Okay, so cron d is going to run. I think cron d systemctl status cron. I think I am giving d as an extra option, and we can see cron, it is active and running, and you can able to see this is an information, log information, little bit information it will provide in case whenever you start this service or this service is not functioning properly. In this log information it will tell why it is not functioning properly, where exactly it went wrong, any configuration changes or some mistakes has been done, then only it is going to give an error, and based on that you can troubleshoot it. Okay, so when it was last started, all this information, what is the process ID it is going to use, this information it is showing. If you want to stop it, then you can use systemctl stop cron. So this is, it is not giving any output, but systemctl status, if you see cron, so if you see here active, it's inactive, means cron it stopped, means whatever the functionality it should do, it is not going to do that function, means that whatever the cron jobs it needs to be executed, then those jobs will not get executed. So that's how it is going to work. So if you want to start it again, you can do systemctl start cron, then automatically it will start. Now systemctl status cron, now again it started. So in what scenarios we want to restart these services, and why we need to restart these services? Why? Because any changes has been done in the configuration level, then to apply those changes, sometimes we need to restart this service. Whatever the existing services are there, for everything there will be configuration files will be there, and if you do any modification to that, sometimes we need to restart, or sometimes it got stuck, the functionality may not working properly, so we need to restart this service. Like for example, our laptop gets hung or our server gets hung, and it is not going to give you any option to work, then we'll do reboot. The same way, sometimes the services will not work as expected or completely stuck, then we can restart it. Or if any configuration changes has been done also, then only we can also restart these services. Okay, so this is how you can check the service and start the service and stop the service. Sometimes you may restart the existing one, instead of stop and start, you can do only in the single command systemctl restart the service name. So this way also you can able to do, instead of executing two commands, in one command you can achieve the restart, like stopping and starting. This restart will also do the same thing, systemctl status and cron. So this way you can able to see it got started. Okay, and there is another command which is called systemctl enable and disable. So what is the difference between the start, stop and enable and disable? If I go to the PPT, so if you see here, systemctl stop service name, it will stop, systemctl start service name, it will start. But what is the systemctl enable service name and systemctl disable service name? So what it will do? So the difference is, like if you see here, this is active, which is running, and there is another tab called here enable. Okay, what does it mean? Enable means this service will come online automatically whenever this Linux machine reboots. means whenever this Linux machine reboots, this service will come automatically online. If you don't want that, then you should disable it. So it will not come online automatically whenever this machine reboots. Until unless manually you start it, then only again it will, you need to start it. Means whenever your Linux machine restarts, then service will not come online. So you manually log into the machine and start the service. That is how it will work. So always in server reboots, it will not work. So some services, most of the services, we want that service should enable state. Otherwise, let it is. So most of the scenarios, services should come online automatically during the boot time. Why? Because always we don't want to connect to it and start the services, and till that time lot of connections will fail. Or else, for example, if SSH is not working, like if the same scenario is for SSH is in disabled mode and no one can able to connect, so again we need to connect to the console and start the service or network service, this kind of services. Whoever the interaction is happening to that services, those kind of services should always come online during the boot time. Otherwise there will be a lot of impact, downtime will occur. Okay, so that's why these commands are available. In the next video I will show you how to make this enable and disable by taking the another example. Bye for now.